Scott Moore.
Okay.
I just figured that everybody want to see it, but you know, what's going on, and whether they want to consider changes to our solar.
We have to compare them with off the generator.
I did not. I did not.
Ours seems to work except for the height. Required for sure.
Yeah.
So far. So,
And the height and the height, I did look at the height and that just to satisfy myself. And that I think he looked at it, it is 20 feet.
okay.
Uh,
All right, so we need a motion to accept the correspondence.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Joey Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Tom Ski.
Aye, motion carried. We have 3 public hearings. I'm going to turn them over to Attorney Mustico, and then we should run all 3 public hearings.
Town of Horseheads Planning Board notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Planning Board of the Town of Horseheads, New York will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, 150 Wygant Road, Horseheads, New York, on the application of CP Breezeport 6 LLC, representing landowner Stanley and Judith Goebel, the Goebel Trust, for the property located at 490 Breezeport Road, Horseheads, New York. Tax map number 60.00-2-6.1, and landowners Justin Maxon and Jennifer Pignataro for the property located at 513 Breezeport Road, Horseheads, New York. Tax map 60.0-2-8. Site plan review for a 3.4 MW solar facility. The application is open for inspection at the office of the town clerk at 150 Wygant Road, Horseheads, New York, during regular business hours. Persons wishing to appear at the public hearing may do so in person or by attorney or other representation. Communications in writing relative thereto may be filed with the town, with the board, or at such hearing. Tom Skibby, Chairman, Planning Board, June 6th, 2024, advertised June 24th, 2024. I'll open the public hearing with regard to anyone who wishes to make comment with regard to this matter. If you wish to make comment, you're to rise, come up to the podium, state your name and address. Upon being recognized, make your statement. The planning board does not participate in the public hearing. If you have questions, you can state your questions after the public hearing is closed. The questions can be responded to. Anyone wishing to speak at all, please? Anyone at all? Motions in order to close the public hearing.
Need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move the motion.
Motion second. Call the roll, please.
Joey Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Tom Ski.
Aye, motion carried.
Town of Horseheads Planning Board, notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Planning Board of the Town of Horseheads, New York, will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, 150 Wygant Road, Horseheads, New York, on the application of CP Breezeport 5 LLC, representing Tommy and Christy Radford for properties located at East Fargo Road and 415 Breezeport Road, Horseheads, New York. Tax map numbers 50.0-2-27.12 and 50.0-2-27.12. Site plan review for 5 megawatt solar facility. The application is open for inspection at the office of the town clerk of 150 Wygant Road, Horseheads, New York. During regular office hours, persons wishing to appear at the public hearing may do so in person or by attorney or other representations. Communications in writing relative thereto may be filed with the board or at such hearing. Thomas Skibby, Chairman, Planning Board, June 6th, 2024, and published June 24th, 2024. Same rules as the last public hearing. Anyone wish to speak with regard to this matter? Anyone at all, please? Motions in order to close the public hearing.
The motion. Second.
I'll make the motion.
So it's you two?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, Joe Atkinson,
Aye.
Angela Hopkins, Ken Castro.
Aye.
Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Ken Stevens.
Motion carried.
Town of Horseheads Planning Board notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Planning Board of the Town of Horseheads, New York will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024 at 7 P.M. at the Town Hall, 150 Whitehand Road, Horseheads, New York, on the application of Michael Martin for Martin's Auto Sales LLC for the property located at 1846 Grand Central Avenue, Horseheads, New York, 14845, tax map number 69.18-4-13 for a special use permit for auto sales. The application is open for inspection at the office of the town clerk at 150 Whitehand Road, Horseheads, New York, during regular office hours. Persons wishing to appear at the hearing may do so in person or by attorney or other representation. Communications in writing relative thereto may be filed with the board or at such hearing. Thomas Skibby, Chairman, Planning Board, June 6th, published 6/24/2024. Same rules as the last public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak with regard to this matter? Anyone at all? Motion is in order to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. A motion second. All in favor?
Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Joe Hopkins. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Ken Stevens.
Aye, motion carried. Go back up to old business, the global one, we can't do anything with. Because of
The other application,
government.
right? Gobel is the one and Pignataro is the one we were asking for the change on the other, on the height and such in the setback.
Yeah, so for the letter that we brought to the town board.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we'd like us to speak to that. Or.
Go ahead.
Or what?
All
You
require height relief?
Yeah.
That portion of it will be under new business
Yeah, okay.
with regard to those changes. So anything you speak, well, of course, we just had the public hearing, so we have nothing, we can't do anything with regard to this anyway, so,
Wasn't it that the planning board needed to make a recommendation on the changes and?
but it's under new business.
Okay.
That's,
You're in business.
yeah,
Okay.
that, this part is old business,
I
yes.
see.
So so we're not gonna do anything with either one of those because of the height requirement.
Right,
Okay,
I believe, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I got the same issue with both of
We're
those.
gonna wait until
With all of them.
it's all.
so once we get the zoning amendment, then we could give you your final site plan approval.
Right.
So we had
Yeah,
public hearings, all that, so we're just waiting for that to go through.
Yeah, it makes sense.
To do that.
And I guess when was your thought on doing the seeker at the same time?
Well, the
as-
seeker has to be done at that level, the
Okay.
town board level, because they're the ones who take action
For the,
for the change,
Okay.
But for
this,
this, yeah, it would be at this level, site plan review, yeah.
so when we do your final site plan review and give approval, we'll do that at the same time.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
did we do a short or a long form on that?
Wrong one, it's type one.
Sorry. Well, we,
You could take a look at it, review it at the next meeting.
Yeah, let's-
It's before the town board anyway. The town board's calling for the public hearing at the August meeting,
So
so,
I mean, for these solar projects themselves, they're long forms.
right, but you could do the seeker at the next meeting and go through all that if,
Right. And,
even though you won't be able to finally give the site.
all right, so we'll do that at the next meeting. We'll send out the long form seekers to
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah,
And we had also provided actually recently in some supplemental material, like kind of a guide, like we did last time to help with the seeker.
Yeah,
So you're welcome to look at that if that's helpful. I think we had sent that to Tina. You got it.
supplemental revisions and supplemental information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Which will help us.
There's a lot of boxes to check, so we sort of provide sort of quick notes for it.
You,
Yeah.
one on,
Yeah.
plan changes and supplemental.
Yeah.
So board members is under Tetra Techs, so we'll need that to help us do our long form seeker for the next meeting, so if you send that,
This one right here. Send it to them and then a blank one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Stuff. Yeah, so go, one's global.
That's
There should be one for each.
And I tried to handwrite goal and Rad's on the bottom, so you can, you know.
okay.
Back in the.
I have two.
Right.
Mhm.
I'll need it for the next meeting. No, I printed out. Global.
One's revised, so no, it's.
I'll make sure we have everything. going to. It's one that you said was. So we'll do the long form sequence at the next meeting. So we're looking at probably the September meeting to get final approval. For the solar.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah,
the board will.
they'll have acted
Okay,
one way or the other.
all right. We're good with that, right?
But John, you expect the board to decide on the law by, in the August town board meeting, is it?
I would think so. I would expect they would.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, now we're back up to Martin's Auto Sales. Special use permit. Here,
I think they're on Zoom.
okay. So basically, all we're gonna do is we don't do seeker on this. It's a type 2 action under seeker, so it does not require review under seeker. Because it's a special use permit. And it's an existing site plan, existing building. So all we're doing is approving a special use permit for automotive sales. Okay,
In addition of you,
in addition,
an additional use, yeah,
Yeah,
because,
they already got automotive repair is permitted.
yeah, when they were permitted for that, it didn't include sales in it.
So our motion would be. No action under seeker because it's a type 2. And then approve a special use permit for automotive sales at that location.
So is it two different motions or just one?
Just one.
Okay, I second.
Okay, all right,
In a motion, second, any further discussion?
all right. Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
Aye.
I'm Stevie.
Aye, motion carried. So Greg, you can do a letter. To them, DMV. With a special permit, because I'll need that for DMV. Yep. So he's good to go. Thank you. All right. 689A, Paul and Stacy Richmond. 467 Oathka Road, revised site plan for the tap house. So come on up. Yes. All right, so. Everybody got this, mail it to them? Did you mail it to everybody? Okay. Showing your patio and your outdoor area. Showing parking. I scaled out your parking is that 18 feet between both, parking areas kind of tight. Showing 10 by 20 spaces and showing 18 in between. Might be a little tight, but it's doable, usually 10, 20 to 24 feet. That's the only thing I found on that. Much cleaner, easier to read and scale out, so. Board members, you got any comments, questions, concerns on this?
Are the aisles between each, are they wide enough? The aisles between the parking spots?
They're 18 feet, it's a little tight, but it'll work.
Okay.
Usually they're 20 to 24. They're split hairs over 2 feet, probably, yeah. But there's nothing in our code that specifically says.
Right.
Me with a big pickup truck, I'll be pulling out going.
The camera's working.
It's a short
Yeah.
aisle with,
I
people aren't gonna be coming.
zip it around, yeah, so, but it'll work. So. That was my biggest question last time, because I couldn't scale it out, so. And you're just doing the 2 sets for now. To
Yes,
show future parking in the. Toward the front there, because that, you know.
and I'm not sure if that's too close to the road. but
Well, you got that front property line there, then you've got grass beyond that, I believe,
Yes,
so. But right now, you're just gonna do the 2,
yes,
so.
yeah, and the garage is just all storage, there's no, no occupancy there.
Yeah, these won't work any,
Right.
Yeah.
But these will.
yeah, so if you wanna make sure you redact that from your approval.
Comments, other comments, board members? Did we hear from county planning?
Local determination, yeah. Yeah.
We're good on that. That was the only thing we needed, is an updated site plan and referral from the county.
Yep.
I'll just make a note on the site plan that the 6 parking spaces on fronting Olithka Road are not part of the approval. It'd be kind of tight in there for that, but you've got to know what besides that.
Without those, these could move and these could all move.
Yeah,
You could have a wider aisle, because those will never be able to go in.
right.
Those front parking spaces you'll never be able to use those. So, because there's no way to get to them.
Okay,
But this gives us a good
Yeah,
plan. If you move your parking, your second one farther toward Olithka Road, you won't need to come back for that.
okay,
Yeah.
It just minor, so
that way yeah.
that's doable.
you get your 20 feet there.
We're gonna mark the gravel, it's gravel, right?
Yeah, well, the one shaded area is all asphalt. We're gonna line that. The gravel, we're gonna mark. And then at some point, we'd like to pave that too, but
That's the handicap spot, the one that's.
the handicap spots in the asphalt there, yeah, we're gonna line those. But the gravel, we'll start off lining, see how long it lasts. And repaint it or go from there.
Doesn't win any applause.
Yeah, yeah. So
They're gonna park where they want anyway.
But
They're gonna park where they want.
Well, we've had some discussions with people, yes.
You got some neighbors walking over for this, shouldn't you?
There's been a lot, it's been hard to, I've been cleaning the building and it's been hard because people keep stopping by. I'm gonna have to walk down
Did you put
now,
them to work?
hide the truck. No, they never offer to help.
Alright. So two things we'll do seeker part two on this one. Because unlisted action, you can use a short form. And then we're giving final site plan approval. On this, so does everybody have? The seeker form? Part two. Right. The proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations. No permitted use in compliance with our zoning regulations. The proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land. That would be yes, right? Probably a small impact. You're going from the retail store to now place for some doing stuff. Due to the size, there would be no impact. But it wouldn't be a moderate or large impact, I think it would be small. Everybody agrees with that. Proposed action compare the character or quality of the existing community. That's what I'm reading. That's zoning. And with the process, proposed action and impact on its environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area. Proposed action result in adverse change to the existing level of traffic or affect the existing infrastructure to master as a biking or walkway. No, but neighbors are gonna want that. The proposed action cause increase in use of energy that fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation for renewable energy opportunities. No, any work they do be conformance with the energy codes, existing building. So I'm sure they're not doing much for that, so that would be. With the proposed action impact existing. That's about private water supply. You might have a small impact there because going from the mercantile to place of assembly. But you've been health department gonna regulate water, right?
Yes,
So you've been in contact with that.
Yep. and we're not ruined, so, you know, besides the extra bathrooms.
So is that a yes or a no?
So that would be a small impact, so that would be,
No.
well, it's no or small, it's a small impact. And then proposed action impact the existing, you got public wastewater there, that would be no. Proposed action impair the character or quality of an ordnance stored, archaeological or architectural or aesthetic resources. Proposed action result in any adverse change to natural resources, well, as water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna, everything's existing over there, there's no wetlands, no floodplain, deal with over there. Proposed action result in increased potential erosion, flooding, or drainage problems. Proposed action create a hazard to the environmental resources, human health. Maybe very too much. So. With that, I will check. Determine that based on our information and analysis above. Proposed action will not result in a significant adverse environmental impact under federal law. SEP seeker is an unlisted action. No environmental concerns. Motion and second for accepting the seeker.
I'll make a motion.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Ann Mustico.
Aye.
Tom Steve.
I motion carried. So we're gonna accept this site plan, the final site plan, and 6 parking spots. Total not included with the second. Motion second for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Ann Mustico.
Aye.
Tom Steve.
Aye, motion carried. Breaking issue of going legally now, you're good to go.
Yay.
Congratulations, hope you do well.
Thank you, hope to see you there.
You will.
Moving right along. This is a referral from Don Horsehead, Town Board Amendment, Chapter 161, Solar Energy Systems and Equipment. So this is John, walk us through this one. This one.
This is the request, with regard to, the height of the panels. Because we have a static height of 15 feet. And, but with the new systems, and we'll let you speak to it, but with the new systems, we talked about that it will violate that prohibition, and we talked about, well, I got less than 20 feet, but we'll talk about language in a minute, and then the other was, since the one application is and we may have to work on this language, since the one application is a single project, what we're trying to say is that where the project coincides at the boundaries, rather than having 75 feet on both sides as a setback, that there could be 20 feet on both sides as a setback. So effectively reducing 150 feet of setback down to 40 feet at that point in time. So, and you wanted to speak.
Yeah, sure. So, I think, so we had kind of discussed the whole 20-foot thing. Previously, we had to get a waiver for the other 2 projects. So we just suggested if you just raised it to 20 feet, you would never have to do a waiver. That would be enough space. And I don't think any racking system would ever exceed that 20 foot. The issue comes with them rotating, and depending on how the specific type of system that you have, you can have sort of like at the beginning and end of the day, your panel height. And that especially as the ground underneath goes up and down, you have like points where it's gonna be over that 15 foot. So but it's really marginal, and it's only for a couple hours of the day where it's at maximum tilt. So if you really, you just raise that static height to 20 feet, there would be a problem. So that's the easiest thing to do is what we suggested to the town board. You could do something different, to say that, you know, look, on average, if it's below 15 throughout the day, because like I said, it's only coming up out of that 15-foot maximum criteria for a small portion of the day. So, I mean, you could say, there will be other ways to craft it, but a simple 20-foot height is pretty simple and wouldn't require any waivers. And I don't think any system would have an issue with that. As to the other one, the setbacks, what we had actually suggested is that, you know, the setback not apply if you have two projects proposed on adjacent lots. Or if you have a project, if there's a already built solar project and then you want to propose another one on the next lot over, it doesn't really make sense to, you know, hold a hard and fast rule of that setback along the lot line that's common between them, because that ends up pushing everything away from that line that's between the two and towards other abutters. So you're kind of having a disproportionate impact on the people around that the setback's kind of meant to protect, if that makes sense. So we had suggested that, you know, if you have two adjoining lots, projects were proposed on adjoining lots, that the setback not be enforced on the common line. Or, you know, as John, as you mentioned, if you want to do, maybe in that case, reducing it to 15 or 20 feet. You know, that shouldn't be too big of an issue either. So that's kind of the idea.
Thank you. Board members, any comments?
The setback is on the back of the property, not side of the property.
In our specific case, it's between Goble and Radford. So it'd be the back of the Goble property, but the front of the Radford property.
Greg, if you want. Greg has. So. Yeah, would you go to the global one? Yeah. Yeah, right there's perfect. That property was.
So you can see, yeah, on the north end, we have the project property boundary. Our panels are getting pretty close to that property line. But of course, we have the other project on the property that's shown off the page to the north. So if you strictly enforce the 75-foot on the back line, you end up pushing the entire project further south towards the road.
We probably put the 75 in there as a buffer for residences or parcels like that, that were occupied by
Right,
somebody else.
I think typically it makes sense. It's just we have sort of a unique situation with two projects being right next to each other.
Now, you're saying two projects, I'm saying one. We gotta, you know, in my mind, I'm looking at are they in fact two projects or are they one?
They're two distinct separate projects. One is on,
And they'll be permitted separately.
Two separate interconnects.
Okay, so the language I have won't work.
There's fencing between the two.
correct, they're wholly enclosed by fencing and they have different gates for entrance.
So you want 40 feet between these two sets of fences.
No, they want no feet between the two fences.
Well, you know, yeah, if we could do it either way. Just depends on what makes sense.
At present, we show there's 15 feet of setback from the property. So as currently proposed, it's 15 feet. And that's what we need to maintain the panels between the perimeter fence and the panels. So I don't anticipate a scenario would be less than 15 feet because we always have to be able to get around the panel.
Right, you need space between the panel and the fence to drive vehicle.
You're driving like 15 feet, makes sense.
So that would work too.
So between the two parcels, the two projects, there's gonna be no fence on that end where you're asking for.
So we had actually proposed to put the fence on the property line for Goble. And then,
You don't, if you get the variance, you're not gonna do.
no, we, that's what we want to do. But according to under the current zoning, you're supposed to have the 75-foot setback. So that means, you know, if you look at it from the line to the panel, there needs to be 75 feet. which is not what we have on the plan here.
That shows.
It's much smaller, 15 feet, yeah.
So in effect, the literal enforcement would push the entire array to the bottom of the sheet another 60 feet, which is pushing it towards Breezeport Road, closer to other residential butters.
Well, 5 feet, because you're saying 15, right?
Well, we need 75. The current setback requirement is 75.
Yeah, but we're proposing 20, you're proposing 15, right?
Oh, certainly, that's, yeah,
I
that,
mean, you know.
If you wanted to be
Yeah, room for
20,
that,
we could, yeah, that'd be fine too.
What's the distance between the panels, between the two projects?
Quite a bit of distance,
oh, 300 feet or so.
yeah.
And that, it's sort of a nuance of this project, we've had several projects where we've had projects adjacent to each other. And we've encountered this like in Tully, the exact same situation, they had a 100-foot setback, what it would have been is like 200 feet of difference. So you would literally saw 200 feet between two arrays, and it just, what we said is it makes no sense to introduce this sort of arbitrary space in between the two arrays, when all it does is push everything out. So what we did is we moved it to 10 feet on either side, and we had 20 feet in between the two arrays.
Right, and I mean, we can obviously look at these specific projects that we proposed, but we kind of, in the letter we wrote to the town, we suggested it should be sort of a generic change, right? So you should try to think about what could be proposed in the future. It's not really, because this problem might come up again for other solar projects.
And one of the other suggestions we also offered to the board is just grant the planning board the right to waive the requirement of adjusting. So in lieu of a specific change, just introduce the opportunity for the planning board to grant a waiver.
That's what you got written here, John, so long as you, I mean, if it's on two contiguous properties, do we really care if they're permitted as one project? Just
No.
take
No.
that phrase out.
Yeah. So you put in a project, you have a 75-foot setback back there. You convinced the neighboring property owner to do a project. So now do you come back and say, we're putting in a project over here, so now we want to take our 75-foot that's already in this project and reduce it down to 20 or 15 and add more panels?
Well, I don't see how well, you could, but once a project's already built, I wouldn't see them wanting to expand, 70.
That much.
Yeah, but for the new proposed project, they could take advantage of, because the setbacks on either side of the line, right? So, that would be helpful for the new project.
The other thing with 75-foot setback, when it's to the rear of the property, do we care? Do we want to push the project closer to what would be the road? And I know all properties aren't going to be, similarly situated. But maybe we should refashion the language so that the planning board has some latitude in site plan review.
So if there is a house like way off the road and the driveway that comes behind the project, we could do.
You could say 70, we're gonna have 75 feet over here.
If it's just vacant land,
Yeah,
we could, that would
Bring
never
it
be
down.
built on.
yeah. There's gonna be a fence, so we want 15 or 20 feet through there, whatever it happens to be. We could make it suggestive more than required.
And we've seen that a number of times with the laws, that there is a ability for the planning board to waive requirements in their discretion. Because like you said, every project has some unique features that may warrant that.
Yes, I have no problem with the height restriction. We don't want something that you gotta judge or compute, moving up and down during the day. We should have a static number to go by that way. Greg's out there watching it go up and down to make sure Needs some regulations. Just trying to think it up, y'all, Greg.
And you know, another thing on that is we do see 15 a lot. And I think that was in the model NYSERDA law, but that was back when it was predominantly fixed tilt. Almost everything today is single axis tracker, unless it's, you know, a very steep hillside, then you might still need some fixed tilt.
I labeled it a single access tracking system or similar. What's the future look like for this stuff?
Most everything is single axis tracker. There is technology for dual axis tracker in which, you know, you have like a sort of like a ball and it's like a big square panel frame and it rotates in 2 axes. But they've tried this technology and the cost of it doesn't really make sense in terms of the bump in production. So in our industry, most everything is single axis tracker.
Okay, so we can reference that or similar might get us to the other stuff. And so I have may reach less than 20 feet. May reach 20, I mean, I don't know that it makes it, you know, a whole hell of a lot of difference. Now, somebody's out there proposing these panels are put in and they're put to the side, so you can farm in between them.
Yeah.
And under
agricultural
that.
things, yes.
How high would they have to be?
That's a good question because, yeah, so if we have actually one project like that and we had to raise it extra high specific to the type of equipment that farmer uses. So, you know, tractors come in all shapes and sizes. So, you know, we designed that project so that he would be able to drive his equipment under it. So there could be a situation where, yeah, you may want to raise it even higher. I mean, there's a engineering limit to these things with the wind load. I haven't thought about, I'd have to look at what height we had for those.
Is it worth our while to think in that vein, or rather just
What we've seen for
Do the
the
obvious.
towns that have worked on agrivoltaics is that they almost have like a separate section on agrivoltaics to say, you know, this section of the law applies if you're a traditional project, and if you're doing dual use or agrivoltaics, then these are your criteria. And they're, you know, it's usually like a little more lax.
We don't have much.
so we should, I mean, we should not complicate ourselves with that at this point.
Yeah, I think, you could take that up with the town board at another time.
Well, maybe
Or
we
if you
can
get somebody that.
get
wants
from
to
you
do it.
some
Yeah.
examples, or where we could pick up some examples. of that.
Even at 20 feet, that provides for about 12 feet of clearance.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like, it just, if you're a small farmer, that's probably fine, but if you're a bigger farmer, I mean, it's the other thing we did for that project I referenced is we actually spaced out the panels further. They were 60-foot rows. So because he wants to be able to, you know, turn the equipment around and get, you know, do 2 passes. So there's a lot of other considerations when you get into that. So I would suggest not to.
Not to complicate, I don't wanna complicate this with that, but
Yeah.
maybe it's something we should look at in the future.
So when you say marginal time of this 20 foot, is that, how do you measure that 20 foot from the ground?
Yes, it's a
Top of
ground,
the solar panel?
ground to the top, and our system we propose tilts up to 52 degrees. So we look at it as the height from the ground to the top of the panel edge at full tilt. Right, and so that's when that measurement could, depending on, you know, like if you can imagine a row of panels, it's on one torque tube, 1 bar. All right, and so that's at a fixed angle, and so if you have the ground going up and down on, you know, it's 200 feet long. So if you have a dip, right now, the measurement there is bigger than where I have a high spot. You know, and it can vary by 2 to 3 feet, depending on how much rolling of the land, and you don't wanna have to come in and grade everything completely, you don't wanna do any grading.
So,
You know,
but
so-
the panels of the land slopes, the panels at this height compared to the ones at this height. It's still considered the ground of where that panel is.
Yeah, I mean, if, the criteria in the law is a simple, it can't be more than 15 feet, right? So that means measured from the ground to the top everywhere. So
If it
that's,
goes like this, you're gonna get different heights.
yeah,
There's
Yeah.
no way to go, we need the average, we're gonna,
and then it's, and then it's during the, like, if it's flat, it's basically 12 or 13 feet on average. Cause that's how tall our piles are. But at the end of the day, at 52-degree angle, it's much higher than 12 feet at the top, so.
So how much time during the day do you think you'll be at the maximum height?
That's like the last hour, and the first hour, although they do, when they stow, they go to full tilt.
Oh, it depends on the time of year too, doesn't it?
Well, it generally follows the sun every day, but when it's complete or you go to stow mode, it usually goes into the full tilt.
Stow is when it goes back to at the end of the night. It goes
Yeah,
to
yeah, it'll go, yeah.
Vertical position.
Well, it's not full, it's 52 degrees, so it's at an angle, yeah.
Will it? I mean, it's one way at night. Will it flip the other way so it's ready for morning, or when?
Yeah, it usually goes back to, so if it's east to west, it'll tilt, it'll go back into the stow mode and to prep for the morning, so.
So it'll be
the
facing
sun
east
starts
of
to-
the-
Yeah. And they also do that, if there's a snowstorm coming, because you can't have the panels be flat, the snow will pile up and there's a snow loading. So you need the snow to be able to slide off.
We actually, because the tracking panels can tilt with the grounds, they follow the grade, so they're not flat. So if the grade is 10%, the whole tracker panel follows the grade. So what we do is we have to calculate at every post what the clearance is to make sure we have enough clearance for snow loads and make sure we have the proper height that we need for wind loads. So we actually calculated out what percentage of our panels would be at, say, 18.5 feet versus 17 feet. And that's actually in the initial application material provided.
So what do you figure for this project? How many panels will be either above that 15 feet or exceed the 20?
So none would exceed the 20,
What do you think the maximum will be?
18.5 feet.
Good.
And then the average height of the panel at maximum tilt. So if you took all the panels, the average is about 16.5 feet at maximum tilt. And then the maximum height flat, so if you were just saying the panels were flat, they're about 12 feet. So it depends on how Greg defines it, right? If he says, well, I'm gonna measure the height as being what the panel is when it's flat, we have no problem. But if he decides that he wants to measure it when it's full tilt, then in full disclosure, it's gonna be higher than 15 feet.
And it's a little, it can be a little bit ambiguous as far as enforcement as well. I mean, they're trying to not invent the wheel, make it easy.
all right, so we're gonna make a recommendation to town one,
Yeah,
that changes. So, okay,
do we care about the difference between freestanding, static freestanding and one on a single axle? I mean, do we just go to 20 feet and forget it, rather than saying
Fixed panel at 20 feet.
I couldn't see why. I mean, they don't, I would never see why.
Yeah, we wouldn't expect ever to have a 20-foot tall fixed panel.
right, but I mean, if that sets the outside, then maybe that's, whatever the board wants to recommend at this point in time.
I mean, nobody can predict the future either. I mean, technology changes, so, you kind of see what happens and as things change. It's smart to adapt, I think.
You ever see the panels getting smaller?
Well, you can buy them actually in all shapes and sizes. There's our system here is 2 panels wide. But there are bigger panels that are as wide as our two panels, one single panel. And then there's smaller ones too. It just depends on supply chain, what's available and what the use case is. I think the residential panels aren't usually quite as big as these or maybe a little bit smaller.
Did I read something about clear solar panels? I mean, they're all dark, they gotta track the light.
Yeah, it's meant to absorb the light, right?
Yeah, but I was just reading something about the development of clear solar panel. I don't know how the hell that works, but.
Well, they do have panels that collect on both sides.
Yeah, these are the ones we will use are bifacial actually, so you get reflection from the snow in the winter and grass even onto the back of the panel.
Okay,
Yeah, it actually helps the panel warm during, if it's got snow on it. You know, produced from the backside, it'll warm and the snow will come off the top. So,
interesting.
So the energy to move these panels, you said the panels are gonna create. Correct?
yeah,
Where is the power storage for those panels?
so they have each, what we call table, which is what's mounted on one tube that rotates. They have dummy panels in the middle, which are smaller ones, and they run the motor. But there are small battery packs, that are there in case it's nighttime and, you know, you got a windstorm or something like that. So if they need to move it into snow mode, they do have those.
So there's no other batteries on this project or the other one? How many of those battery packs are there?
I think there's one per each, each table has one motor, so there's one for each one.
Table's about 200 feet long.
So can they be controlled from off-site? Is that what you're saying?
They can, yeah, they can be shut off, and there's a software that runs the tracking system, so you can command it to go into stow mode if there's like a windstorm coming up and we need it to, or to go into flat mode so the wind won't have so much uplift.
Who monitors the?
We will.
We don't know if panels are down. or
Oh, yeah.
Electrical issues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
let's
first
get
thing they
that,
don't- Production.
recommendations to the town.
You can make your recommendations now, or we can try to re-put the things you can do it at the next meeting, because the town board will be calling their public hearing for the August meeting. uh, Next week, so the meeting will be a week after yours in August, so if you want, we could maybe throw some better language together based upon these discussions and what the board wants. And transparent solar panels.
There was something I saw about you hang it on a window.
Mainly for, well, buildings, they're just saying whole buildings would be all solar panels.
Well, you know, we saw, Tesla tried to make solar shingles, but I don't think the business case worked out so
There's
well.
two in the city of Mars, which they was.
Oh, really?
Really?
They stopped making them for some reason. Yeah, because of the.
Well, they said if you covered 1.2% of the Sahara with solar panels, it would generate enough electricity to run the whole world.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get it there.
That's right. That's the question. Because I mean, that's something that we find is, you know, you want the power to be, the production to be closer to where it's used. Right, then you don't spend so much
Yeah,
money
well,
going
yeah.
wires everywhere.
And NYSEG isn't charging you for distribute, yeah.
Looking at this first paragraph where you say that you want the stationary ones should not exceed 15 feet. And then I can understand why you want the 20 foot for the articulated panels. I'm wondering if somebody's gonna take advantage of the 20 feet with the stationary panels, and we're gonna have some pretty ugly stuff out there.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what I was just saying is, do we just take it out? We just make the height 20 feet, period.
But that's what I mean, if somebody with the stationary panels puts them up at 20.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of it's gonna be,
But half the day it's gonna be
Yeah.
at 20 anyway.
no, not the stationary.
No,
I'm talking about the stationary panels
Say
that,
20 on, but the articulated ones will be partial today.
right,
So
I
you,
guess-
you want, you're recommending we keep the distinction.
I think, yeah, I think we should keep
Okay.
a distinction in the first paragraph, I like it.
I don't. think it-
But it's- well, I guess the real question is like, how much difference does 5 feet
Right,
make?
yeah.
Is that a lot, or, I mean,
Agreed.
I don't know, half the height of this building, I guess.
Yeah, that new town of Elmira is 20 feet,
Straight across the
Yeah.
board.
is 20 feet. That's why I did look in that to see where, you know, what they, but
All right, so you're gonna put together some more language.
I'll put together the language both ways. So that, and then you can.
You know, we don't have to agree on them. I'm okay with
You
that.
can vote, yeah, you can vote on that. And then make the recommendation on that, and then I'll make some changes in the adjoining property.
You didn't like the way we wrote it up, huh?
John, is your intent to change it to 20, because if it's 20, we'll have to revise our drawings. Right now, it's currently showing.
Well, I'm gonna leave it up to them. I look at a fence as a 3 to 5 foot problem. Okay? If there's no fence and you got 15 feet, then you got enough room.
Yep.
Drive by the fence out here, and where's everybody drive? 4, 5, 6 feet away from the fence.
Mhm.
So now we have over here, and now we have panels that are sitting here at 20 feet. So now we all of a sudden have 10 feet to drive it. So that's, that's what I'm looking at.
So in our case, just to be clear, our fence is on the property line, so we have 15 feet between the fence
And the panel, yeah,
Yes.
so I'm saying, I think it should be 20. For no other reason, I'm just gonna argue with you, but that's.
Well, I'm not gonna argue with you, John.
These guys are the ones that are gonna say it, so we'll put it together and go from there. Yeah, then you can make the recommendations at the next meeting.
Spin the wheel, see.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no, thank you.
All right. We're going to refer from the Dorset Town Board BUD amendment. Reconfigure some parcels and subject crossings.
Yeah, this is just, they're selling off portions of that project, so. Kohl's, as we know, and Walmart, as we know, were separate parcels. All the others are part of a development. They have sold off the Dick's parcel. They have sold off the Men's Warehouse parcel, being that building. And the Starbucks, the coffee building, they sold that off at this point in time. So it's leaving them with the Joanne Fabrics building and the empty lot at the end of that, plus all the roadways and such through the property. So what they're asking is that the balance of the property go to be two sites. One being the Joanne's building, the parking out front of that on that side, obviously. And all the roadways will be in that parcel. The other parcel, the empty lot, will be a separate parcel at that point in time. No real big deal. I mean, just a matter of changing it for their purposes at this point in time. Their main reason for doing this is to get the roadways and the detention basin all in the Joanne's parcel, so whoever buys that building will have all that responsibility to collect from the other people and all the, make sure everything's in whatever shape it's supposed to be in. That they referred to you again, it's the same situation. They'll call the public hearing for their next meeting, so you can You can make the referral, you can make the, recommendation now or next meeting, doesn't.
So it's no impact on us really, right?
It's, nothing's gonna change that's there, no. It'll only change in operations and maintenance, which is there regardless.
So all we're doing is making a positive or negative recommendation on the,
Amendment,
amendment.
PUD.
So moved,
Positive or negative?
positive.
Positive recommendation to the town board.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Ian Mustico. Tom Stevens.
All right. Moving right along, we've broken the village oversight area variance. 3311 South Main Street, Spectrum. Orsons. Western 8-foot tall fence outside the front yard setback. Whatever that means.
Outside of the front.
They're going right up to the sidewalk, right? Instead of gonna put the fence, from the diagrams, look like they were gonna put the fence right over the
Well, I'm
side.
saying that's, is that what?
It looks like, yeah, the way the drawing is here. It looks like they're going right up to the sidewalk for security reasons. I mean, the way they're fencing in the entire property on this sketch.
8 foot, huh?
Yeah, maximum lawn height in the village,
Usually
fence is 6 foot.
6 foot, yeah.
Yeah. See, right here is the sidewalk, and they're putting the fence right on the
Right
sidewalk,
on the side, at 8.
at 8 foot, yeah.
Do we care?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think we
It's a
care.
security thing. I tried to squeeze some info out of Bob, but
What, yeah,
it trying to keep people out. I guess they're having trouble with, like, for that building's having trouble with people.
Well, we got the, we
Yeah,
got the
hotel.
hotel next,
Yeah.
hotel next door.
That's the problem.
Some people don't wanna go all the way out to the new Spectrum store. They
Right.
still think,
Yeah.
that we go to Main Street to do business, to pay our bills, and
Right,
turn
yeah.
in the boxes, so.
Do we, I'd say vote of determination, which not gonna affect anything in the town of Versailles. They'll make that motion, vote of determination.
So we'll,
Second.
All right. Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Ian Mustico. Tom Stevens.
Aye, motion carried. Last item. Walmart. 1976. Building expansion project 1400 64. Site plan review. We have anybody from
Yeah.
Walmart?
Together.
okay. You'll be here.
I think it's good to put it on their side so I can see. Try to get it up.
you don't want to store panels on Walmart.
They have some sort of programs, working on the buildings. You guys talk, we can certainly talk after, yeah. Bring it an idea that.
We get a referral, we get a referral fee here?
You know, something for the use of our facilities.
Bring some new ideas to ones that.
We solar panels on Coles.
Yeah, Cole's,
Oh, yeah.
Cole's whole roof is,
Been there 10 years.
Walmart's got a light thing inside, do they still do that? They have this.
Yeah.
the light-
Sometimes it's hard to find the right person, but like you said,
This is it. This is the guy.
I was looking for, I'll try and get this so everyone can hear me and see me. So my name's Justin Latier. I'm here with Colliers Engineering and Design, working with Walmart on a small, I believe it's just under 5,000 square foot expansion to their existing building to improve and streamline their pickup operations. So currently the pickup is situated over here on the site. They're looking to locate it to this side and expand the building just to improve kind of their internal operations, how they dispense the groceries to the customers. In conjunction with that improvement. They do make striping and signage improvements across the site to improve wayfinding, traffic flow of traffic, and, you know, kind of just generally improve safety across the site. We have a detailed plan of this area, unless there's any
Okay,
questions on this piece. So, yeah.
are you gonna leave the current
So
parking? Is that just gonna be regular parking
yeah, so
now?
this will go back to regular parking, and then one of two things will happen, it hasn't been determined yet. The existing canopy, sometimes they relocate that canopy, sometimes they remove that canopy. Currently, the plans are showing it to be. Tell you what's happening over on that side. We've got this, so generally when we do this stuff, you've got the full grading utility plans in the package. We are not adding any impervious area, we're not changing any drainage patterns, everything that drains to the existing catch basins on site. With the bump out here is gonna drain to the same catch basins. We're not making any changes to landscaping, not removing any landscape islands. Really trying to keep a minimal scope, minimal disruption to the store, to kind of get this implemented. I do think there might be, other thing, let's see. I think there's one new light.
That side's kind of underutilized over there on that side anyway.
Yeah, I think this makes sense from where the pickup is now to have it on this side. That's what we've seen. We're doing a lot of these throughout New York with Walmart. Most of the time, these new locations are, it's almost like when they did it the first time, it was kind of, where can we get it quickly? And now it's kind of like, let's find a good spot to put it.
How's this don't you have a tire store on that end of the building too?
We do, so the TLE operations are over here.
Okay.
Is the only in and out for that area gonna be down to the front of the building, or is it toward the back? Is there any, I mean, so that people could come in and out on that side?
Yeah,
That-
and so the preferred path of flow, the way the signage is gonna direct people to get to pickup is gonna be in through one of these two ways. You know, in most cases, people will pull in and hopefully go back out this way. We generally try to dissuade customers from going back through the truck routes. You know, can't rule it out that someone might come in back through this way, but the signage will be directed on this being the primary in and out.
Okay, but then they won't be able to go, I mean, that side, another underutilized portion is that side road. That westerly, yeah, at this point in time.
Yeah, we are gonna put some signage there so that if people are coming from that way, it will direct them to the pickup spots.
Okay.
So basically, the outdoor storage area on that side's gonna remain, and the addition's gonna be behind that.
Yeah, there is gonna be a small change to the racking on the side here to accommodate the pickup here, the pickup. There will be canopy drains for a canopy that are gonna tie into existing catch basins. And I think there might be a storm structure being dedicated.
What's the aisle, are people gonna be able to get in and out?
Yeah, so we're at 27 feet here. Just the touch under 24 over here, and we do neck down here. This is one of the safety things Walmart does for their associates. Is they kind of channelize this just to give the associate more time before they're out in the travel lane. So that's why you see it kind of just neck down a little bit here.
Traffic coming.
Yeah, they've found that 10 feet is a good distance that gives them time to react to. There's a car coming. Make that too much shorter.
You guys, you have to do it this year?
This is, I think this is early 2025 construction, so this will getting the approval for the site plan stuff, the architect will be submitting the building plans. I think it's gonna be early 2025 before construction starts.
So compared to the rest of the building, we got 207,000 square feet, or 208,000. They're in plus the 5. Doesn't affect any other parking, anything like that.
Yeah, I think there's a small reduction in parking at 10 spots. Doesn't put us below the code requirement. And that's just a function of having more of the wider pickup spots. We're gonna pick up a few on the other side of the building, but we're gonna lose a few more here because there's gonna be additional pickup spots.
What's the width of those
Those
spots?
are 10 foot on the inside section, 12 foot center to center of the double. So I think the standard spots out here are either 9 or 9.5.
They were 9.5 by
18, and 10, yeah.
Yeah,
we we want to put smaller ones in.
We reduced it, so they have reduced the blacktop.
Yeah,
yeah, so they do these wider, just, most of the time when they're loading vehicles, they load them into the trunk, but the wider spots help facilitate loading into the back seats.
I don't know why I think that, that the spots they should be going in and backing out this way and not going in and backing out this way. Yeah, but the size of some of these pickup trucks and stuff, these people come with,
but you got 27 feet, 24 feet, so he's got.
they do have a, they do.
Like 18 on for that.
We're not changing anything from the depth or width of the aisles that they exist.
Right.
Unfortunately, don't have the room to make that situation any better, but, and then because the rest of the store is not angled parking.
Are we within the county? We have to go to the county with this? I don't think so.
Let's see.
Where's the new agreement?
Yeah,
Well, I have the new agreement, but I'm wondering if we have any distance at all that we'd have to go. Cause Walmart's their own parcel and the Big Flats is the other side of Coles over there.
Closest
More than 500
I
feet then.
I don't think we're within 500.
Yeah, I don't
No.
know so either.
Let's see.
Boss is calling. Yes.
Got a very special.
Yes.
No, this is gonna have to go to the county.
it is.
Yeah. Now see what we can. Second floor of the store.
There's a canopy going up.
So there's a small 15x7 canopy with 2 posts that's gonna go over the door that dispenses from there. There is no, at this time, there is no proposed pickup canopy. The other one will be. Yeah, the full canopy was something that they have been doing.
Metal, how great it was, they're gonna do. Turn it down.
They try to use them. All other days, when they go back and do this, they're taking the canopies down. I don't know why. I was just at the board last night. It's, "Oh, the canopies are nice, keep everybody out in the rain and. It's just something that.
Figure more for the employees that have to go up there and large or.
I think some of it could be because the program has expanded so much that just having a canopy over. You had 10 spots, 12 spots, it's easier than 4 or 5 spots.
You're right.
Unfortunately, that's all it is.
Alright,
All
so
what it comes down to.
we can't take action on this tonight, it's gotta go to the county. For referral. Because it's an addition. Sure, it'll be minimal, it's, everything's in places. You got impervious surface there, you're breaking a blacktop, put the building. minimal. Things we really have to worry about on this.
And in,
So August meeting,
August meeting.
August 7th.
Okay.
Anything else, board members, questions for this project?
There's nothing stormwater has to do. Yeah, I guess it's all just existing parking.
There's not increasing any more impervious surface.
Yeah, not increasing, and then I don't have the obviously the contours on here, but this building area, I'm thinking of this directly drains to this rig now, and that's the same catch basin that the drains and the canopy will tie into. So all the water's gonna end up the same.
So, gotta make a motion to refer it to the county.
Does it have to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
For what, why?
because it's not in the list of exceptions. That's-
Yeah, but are we within the general municipal law feet requirements?
There's no fee. This is all variances, special uses, existing buildings. If you're going up the second floor,
Well, I don't care about that. I don't care about the statute, which says if it's within 500 feet,
right,
we have to refer it.
we did to account the municipal line behind us. The Walmart is,
The municipal line is behind Coles.
it's Village of Horse, it's,
The Village of Horse is on the other, okay,
It's
Village,
nice.
yeah, I forgot about the village, yeah, the Village.
it is within.
I was going the other way. Okay, tried.
No, okay. Is it like we'll be able to do seeker and final approval in August, assuming that there's no.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to come.
So get that down to the county as soon as possible, so we get them back down there.
Yeah.
And the village.
I'll have Brent take it down.
Your
Make a
resolution,
motion.
you've got your resolutions.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
they're,
Down in the county, the
yeah.
Village of Horse,
Village, okay.
so we need a motion and second to do that.
Village and county, yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Okay, call the roll.
Joe Atkinson, Angela Hawkins, Ken Castro. Yeah, Russell Crowe, Tom Seaver.
Motion carried. See you next month.
All right, so much.
So those were for the village and the county, your recommendation.
Correct.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Okay.
Might better get back and get in the pool.
Yeah, there you go.
Get the mosquitoes.
Do you want to keep this, Jen? No. Okay, it's true.